What's up, guys, and welcome, Daily Theologians. Why is atheism so popular? Why is it so prevalent in our society? And why does it seem like the evidence is all on their side? Well, you're going to want to stick around for this video because we have Ray Comfort and Ken Ham weighing in on this issue. And I think you'll be surprised by what we can conclude from this. Check this out. So the question of where we all came from has been the subject of much debate. Now, the Bible is very clear on this, but atheists say, well, science says, and here's one of the primary beliefs, or one of the leading beliefs right now. Check this out.
You and I are descendants of Martians.
Wait a minute. Did he just say we're descendants of Martians?
You and I are descendants of Martians.
Okay,
That
and
is
that's
not crazy.
And that's not crazy? Is it crazy that you and I are descendants of Adam and Eve?
We are descendants from a common ancestor. I don't know
is
that
it
they went by
crazy that
those names.
is it crazy that God made the first man and woman and we're descendants of them?
For me, there's no evidence of that.
So is that crazy?
But
I wouldn't use that word.
What would you say?
It's you're betraying your intellect. You're not using your head. That's
So
what I would say.
you're saying it is crazy?
It's frustrating.
which is more crazy though.
But
being
you're saying we're
descended from a
descendants of
Martian?
Martians, and that's not crazy?
I say it is not crazy. It's extraordinary, but not crazy.
Okay,
And
so-
we have a process
so where
by
are-
which we can prove that.
So if we are descendants of Martians, the question then would be, well, where did they come from? This creates an infinite regression problem. You see, atheism, and I understand why this is popular, it's based on what we believe to be hard sciences, observable, repeatable, testable. It's a test of truthfulness that people submit to willfully. The problem is it becomes a religion in terms of origins, in terms of reality. And so this method whereby God upholds the universe by the word of his power and makes things uniform, repeatable, testable, and verifiable because he's created a universe of order, then becomes the standard as God himself and replaces God. It's actually a form of idolatry. Now, I'm not mad at atheists, but I really want you to just carefully consider this next clip from Ray Comfort, who everyone really does not like. But I think this is a great example of where this position of coming from Martians and nothing being in control of the universe at the very least will lead you to. Check this clip out.
I'm absolutely open to evidence. In fact, I change my mind all the time. That's the great thing about being a scientist. Unlike religion, we don't assume we have all the answers. In fact, we ask the questions, and we let nature tell us the answer.
I noticed you picked up this book before. Do you believe this book could make itself? Let me give you this scenario. That ink fell on the pages, colored photos just manifest when ink fell out of nowhere. The sentences became coherent with periods and commas.
No, which is one of the reasons why the way that the Bible was written by humans, because it didn't make itself. There were some bunch of largely literate Iron Age peasants who were trying to understand the world and didn't know much about science, and they wrote in different forms books. And
okay, so the fourth question:
could a book arise spontaneously from nothing? Absolutely. But could it make itself? No. There's two very different things, because you're implying design, intent, etc., which is what, of course, you do.
DNA is called the book of life. Could DNA make itself?
Well, see, that's where the question is ridiculous, because in fact, DNA doesn't make itself any more than a snowflake makes itself. A snowflake is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it's assembled by nature. It doesn't make itself. It's the laws of physics and chemistry, polar molecules, that make this incredibly complex, beautiful structure. Now, the same thing with DNA. DNA is an amazing structure, and the laws of physics, chemistry, and ultimately biology, but which derives from that, will in principle explain how DNA first arose. You give me the laws of polar molecules and I'll give you a snowflake. There's no intent, no grand purpose, no design behind it. Even though they look designed, the illusion of design is an illusion.
Natural law does indeed produce complex structures like snowflakes. But the law that produces that kind of complexity is simply the same chemical reaction repeating over and over. That is not information. What's stored in the DNA molecule is specified information, like the information found in a book or a computer program. The fact that a book requires an author and a program requires a programmer is not an illusion. It is factual as seen in the real world around us. It isn't apparent design, it is real design as any college student can tell you. Do you believe the instruction book for life happened by chance?
No.
So it couldn't happen by chance, could it?
No.
So where did the intelligent information to selectively arrange the building blocks of DNA come from? That know-how and forethought does not exist in any of the materials from which life is made, and the laws of nature have no purposeful capacity to write a book or arrange its pages. So where did that specified information come from? Its origin is certainly supernatural. What Professor Krauss completely overlooks is the external nature of the information encoded into the DNA molecule. A complete set of software instructions directing the formation and reproduction of human beings, both male and female, and all other living things. Bill Gates once said, DNA is like a computer software program, but far, far more advanced than any software ever created.
So the issue has to do with the heart. This is a spiritual problem, and I know atheists will quick to say that they don't believe that, but that is the core issue. It's a category mistake. They think that their mind is operating properly, when in reality the mind set on the flesh is hostile to God. This is the problem, is that it cannot submit to God. It cannot receive the things of God. It cannot see that they are made in God's image with value, worth, and a purpose. And so they have these elaborate systems, which is basically a different religion. It's a different etymology. And I don't mean to be offensive by that. It's just this is where their ultimate authority is in the science. I am the science, said someone who will not be named. That is the appeal. But science just means knowledge, and knowledge must be based on truth. God is a person and the standard of truth. Check out this question about where did the first chicken or egg come from? And again, it elaborates the problem with this position.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I'll have to say the chicken.
The chicken.
What do you think?
The chicken.
Chicken? And what about you?
The egg.
Egg, okay. Was the egg fertilized?
You got me. You got me. Ain't no way.
Maybe God created the chicken, so then that's how the egg came.
You got me. I don't know. I didn't think that far into it, I guess.
Maybe most likely the chicken, I would say.
So if the chicken came first, it then laid an egg. Okay? Was the egg fertilized?
Don't know.
The egg?
The egg?
Yes.
This chicken that produced the first egg, was the egg fertilized?
It would have to be.
There's a rooster.
So there was a rooster.
There's a rooster and a chicken. Where do they come from?
They all came from the stars.
So this is where it goes to the stars, alien. You have panspermia, where aliens seeded life here because it couldn't be God. It has to be some other universe, a multiverse, an infinite regression of problems. But if you go back to the beginning, there still had to be someone or something in the beginning that created all things. That's why Lawrence Krauss makes the distinction between a book appearing versus a book making itself, because he believes it could appear here in our dimension, basically spontaneously, but it couldn't spontaneously make itself. It would have to pre-exist to do that. It's a bit of a complicated concept, but it's basically the problem is the same. It's the same problem that a Mormon would have, for example, with an infinite regression of numerous gods. That's why there can only be one God in the beginning. You can't have multiple gods making gods. You can't have multiple aliens making people. It has to go back to the infinite, eternal creator who is without cause. He's always existed. He's eternal. And the reason this is important is he's spirit. He's not of the same essence or substance of the created universe. He's different and other and exists outside of time and space and upholds time and space by the word of his power. That's Jesus. And I know this seems foolish to many people, but the reason I'm making this video isn't because I'm mad or trying to provide confidence for myself. I understand this very clearly. And I've been through many of the classes that many of the atheists have been through, same college classes, same types of things. So if you're going to make an attack on lack of information, lack of knowledge, just consider that Many Christians were once in your classes, in your position, and it's not that we don't understand the argumentation. Perhaps it's that you're blinded by another force, and the Bible would say it's the god of this world that has blinded the minds of the unbeliever to keep them from coming to the knowledge of faith, to keep you from understanding the truth that you're made in God's image, but you violated the law of God. And this is why Ray Comfort uses the law so often. If you've ever lied, if you've ever stolen, if you've ever been angry with someone or committed adultery of the heart through lust or even the actual act, that means you'll be guilty when you stand before God on Judgment Day. And this video isn't to make you feel bad or anything like that, but essentially it's like coming along in the ocean and seeing a submarine and thinking it just has the appearance of information. Well, there's something more complicated than a submarine, and it's a whale. And so to think, well, that's just the appearance of information, that's just the appearance of design, the appearance of being created. These are the types of things that you must be reduced to believing, which is not intellectually smart. This is absurdity, actually. And I'm not saying that to insult you. I'm just saying if you saw a submarine, you would say that thing was created, obviously. Well, if you see a whale, it can have other whales. It was created before the submarine ever was made, and it's infinitely more complex because it's living. It can think. It can do things where the submarine is directed by people. So the point of this video isn't to be angry or anything like that. Not angry at all if you're an atheist, and we care about you very much. But Jesus demonstrates his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us, the just for the unjust, to bring us back to God, that he would pay an infinite hell debt on the cross, that he would fulfill the law in his perfect life. He would die and rise on the third day. And that shows God's love. And what you must do is repent of your idolatry, repent of your self-righteousness, repent of your false religions. See, atheism at its core is the religion of humanism. You say, well, I'm not religious. Well, it's a game of semantics at this point, because God says that all people have knowledge of him. And you say, well, I don't find that compelling. That's fine. But God is the ultimate standard. By what standard do you judge truth? And the Bible is my standard for truth. And so I think that it's very clear that atheists are not being intellectually honest. I don't think atheism is an intellectual position. And that's not to be rude. I'm just saying I made this video so that you would understand that God demonstrates his love in his death, burial, and resurrection. I care very much about you. I'm not mad at you. And if you're still watching this video, I hope you take a moment and hammer that like button. Like the 95 Theses. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I would be happy to do my best to answer. Thank you so much, and God bless.